It's Friday night, we're actually at Cold Christmas Church. Now it's only been nicknamed that because it's sort of in the vicinity of Cold Christmas Lane. But it's on the Cold Christmas Walkway, which is like Route 34 on the maps, as it were. Anyway, we've walked for about 10-15 minutes and had to park the car up in the most precarious position, but that's the way it goes. We're here. The energy that I'm feeling here is absolutely amazing. You're going to get to see the tower shortly, and there's a graveyard. Now, this particular site is quite nice. Now, there's a lot of churches back in those days in the 1020s, 1060s, 1080s, 1090s that were built in a very different alignment. They were built from north to south, whereas your modern day churches are built from east to west, as we know. But the original way of doing things on planet Earth was north to south. So I'm standing on a direct north to south alignment, which is amazing. Now, I don't know how much you can see here in the dark at the moment. I'm going to get my torch running as well. But we're just going to head over here. This is the original graveyard. Now, we're actually walking towards the church that was built here in the year 1089. Now, sadly, in 1089, and then it was actually demolished and ripped down in 1853. Now, there's been various stories of grumblings and growls and echoes from the tower in 2009. There's certainly been reports of an entire ghost army marching out of the church, and that's back in 1978. Can you imagine that? From the church itself. And when we say the church, we're talking about the Bell Tower, which is still very much in existence. Did you get that? Yeah. So I mean, I expected to get some kind of environment noise. There's a reason why we came here tonight. There's no, not by chance. We're meant to be here. We've got, now some people, sadly there are some people that meet here for satanic ritual, but that's the way it goes, I guess. There are talks of 2 white horse ghosts here as well. And most importantly, actually, what's really interesting is that most people report that they get strong EVP. So we'll see how much information we get when we go back and re-look at this data that we're filming tonight. So a lot of people say they get lots of electronic voice phenomena. So that's going to be quite interesting as well. Let's go and have a look at the churchyard itself, the graveyard, and look at the bell tower, and let's see what we can feel over there. We're at Cold Christmas Church still, and I think I may have said this already, it's a nickname. The real name is Little St Mary's, and it was built in 1089, as we said, for a family, as a private church to start with. This is an amazing place. I certainly get much more of a feeling around here. So we're just going to go down and film as we go. And you run where you're at. I certainly get a sense. Definitely, it's this area mostly. I get a sense of. Forcément sortir hier. Augmentisch. Augmentisch so da. Immer. Okay, it's definitely around here, and I'm just wondering, I don't know if we can get another torch on this particular stone here, but this is where I'm getting a lot of the emanation from, is from this area, very much so. It's almost like a radiation effect, it's just emanating outwards from here, so this is quite an interesting space. Is there someone here that wants to say anything to us at all? Show us a sign that you're here. We're not here to harm you. And we hope you're not here to harm us. Always helpful. But just to give us some kind of sign that you're here. I mean, we come here for a reason to speak and see what needs to be said. I'm certainly getting it's very much a mixed in and out feel about things. It's very much a sense of 1 minute it's very, very magnetised and energetic. The next minute it just goes really calm and quiet again. It's almost like something's trying to break through, but it's not really just getting there just yet. I say we can but hope, and we do live in hope. for the EVP, for electronic voice phenomena, to see whether we've got anything afterwards. So there'll be times in this particular shot that I will pause and not say anything for a short while to allow us to explore if there's anything going on at all in the background, so to speak. Perhaps you could just give us a sign that you're here and you want to share something. Could be something really simple and very plain. Okay, let's walk around the side of the church as we go. I say church, what's left of the church is the bell tower, and sadly it's all sealed over. It's just, you have to be here to experience this, and just the energies and the feel. Watch yourself on some tombstones there, obviously. Now what was particular, I did notice this earlier on, these are people that have actually just carved in. Sadly, they've almost carved onto here and graffitied. But what I did pick up earlier on, guys, for anyone that's watching, some of it's relatively new. Now, I talked about the satanic parts. You can see we've got an inverted cross here. Now, if we look at the north-south line, south, yeah, so we're in a, yeah, that would make total sense. We are in the south, this pillar itself, I'm just going to touch it to get a feel for it. This pillar itself is what we call the southwestern quadrant. So it is in the southwest. Now, there are many, many cult groups that operate from different quarters, like northeast, southwest, or the sub-quarters, the southwest, the southeast, the northeast, and so on. And this is anyone I've seen which is really new. And I don't know if you can see or not, it's not actually, what I like about it, it's not actually painted or carved, that's marked on with charcoal. And I'm not going to touch it because that wouldn't be a good thing. But we can see that it's a charcoal inverted cross. And I can see various other things that people have marked on here. Now, it screams Magus to me. It screams Magus. If anyone doesn't know much about that, it's quite weird. But even the symbology, I can see a symbology here from satanic cult. This particular one here, that's satanic in particular. I mean, some of it is obviously modern and, you know, it's just graffiti and criminal damage, really, which is so disappointing. Such a beautiful building. Oh, we've got a little spider joining us. But some of this is actually quite satanic, and I can see where that comes from now because of the way it's carved and the way they've marked it in various symbols. So they've obviously used this. I don't know whether we can see much on the floor, actually. I'm just going to get my torch as well, whether there's any markings or traces of anything around. Let's have a look. I mean, well, that certainly had something done on it, hasn't it? There's some burnt and faded embers here. Do you see? That's burnt. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that there. Blackness.
Yeah.
So that's been. So I mean, it's certainly. And I suppose for a little ritual, it's probably the right area to be. You've got a bit of shelter there from the trees. You know, you'd have. You've got enough. You'd probably work from here. That makes sense. Wow! Just look at that down there. Just get a pan shot of that, just like that. Amazing, isn't it? We'll see what we get, I say, offline and see what's on the photographs. We've got Kerry going around taking some very interesting shots as well. When we were at the RAF site, Upwood, to get it right, not Alconbury as I said, but Upwood, last week. Was it last week or the week before?
Week before.
Week before. You know, there was some very interesting stuff we got. I think we're going to get just the same here, actually. But at the moment, it's gone cold and calm again. So let's just, as we go around, let's just get a feel. We'll leave the ladies doing their photography around that side, that's great, and we'll carry on around here. But I say, it's more what people have marked in. This is what I'm interested in, to see what they've marked and why they've marked it. I mean, this is clearly saying London, isn't it?
Mm. Kelly?
Kelly, I think.
Yeah.
There's different people that have sadly scratched into the wall over time. But yeah, it's a shame. Such a shame. Yeah, I can see nothing on here. It's mainly all the words, the main concrete bits are. Just let me pan up here for a second. I just want to see these. Right, it's talk of life and death here on that particular part. So it looks like different people have made their mark, I guess, over time. But some of the flint work is amazing. It's obviously the original. You can see here, look, the flint markings there. Absolutely lovely. Okay, let's just go back this way. Watch it, there's a park race right there, and there's different holes and things. Always help. And you can just imagine that back in 1089, I'd been standing inside the church here, in this place. You know, in the year 1089, this would have been the main church area for the private families and gatherings. I just want to do something different now for a minute, Simon. If you just want to turn your torch off, can you see anything at all?
No.
No. Okay, it's a shame because I thought we might be able to use my moonlight. So click your torch back on again. I also want to see whether we get anything afterwards with any orb strobes. It's what I refer to. We have two types of energy lines and plasma, if you want to call that, I guess. One would be orbs, which everyone knows about orbs, circular balls floating around, little dots of light, not reflective lenses or anything. It's the real thing. And then you get the other part, which is the orb strobes. Now they're almost like the flickers of lights that come into the frame. And when you take the photograph, it almost captures that absolute nanosecond of where you capture that piece of time and space, which is amazing. We're just going to go down here a bit and just try to see what we feel down on this part, which is quite good. One thing I just want to point out to people, I don't know how much you can see up in the sky there. Can you get that at all, Simon?
I'm getting some of it.
Right. There's a lot of chemtrails up there this evening, which I'm finding particularly of interest. Because they very rarely do chemtrails at night time. But I don't know if we can see, but there's a full cross marking over to try and block off the so-called moon. So they definitely are trying to get something covered up there. It is not aircraft. We've seen so much aircraft go over on the flight path. No jets, no streams.
No.
Yeah. What we're seeing very clear as day, but we're seeing the chemtrails go over. They're clearly.
No, there's quite a lot there actually.
There's a lot that they're covering up this evening.
Yep.
Which, again, you know, in some of the cities you won't get that because light pollution stops you seeing it at night time. But obviously out here in the countryside you get to see quite a bit.